Good evening, everybody. Kimberly Olson here, coming in live for our interview with Ashley Welch, and I'm super excited to interview her, something that we've been talking about for a little bit now, and we were able to align our crazy busy schedules. So I definitely have a treat for you guys. I'm going to give you a second to come on here, and I think we already have a comment. Oh, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and bring you on now, just in case. See if it'll let me. Oh, it will. Awesome, Ashley. I'm going to bring you on now. So we're going to bring her on. That way we don't lose her. So we'll just wait here for it to hopefully work. I think it's trying to add other people. Oh, it says connecting. Yay!
Hey,
Awesome. Hi.
that was so painless. Yesterday I did my first Facebook Live and I totally butchered it. I shut the whole power off of my computer. It was just like, hi, everybody, done. And it was just, yeah.
So I was doing a Facebook Live Tuesday night in one of my private groups, and I'm not even kidding. It was this like intense training partway through. My lighting is really big. It's this big square. It comes crashing down, hits the lamp, and hits a glass of water and spills all over every electrical thing in front of me. And they were all like, what? So it just goes to show you guys, which we're going to talk about. It's okay. That's the point of being live, right? It's all about being real. So I just want to tell you guys a little, yeah, exactly. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being here. I'm so excited to get a chance to pick your brain and talk a little bit about what you've done. And so you guys know our background and how our paths have crossed over time. And I'm going to try to get this out. Well, I'm not even going to touch anything. It scares me. I can't see your guys' comments though. But we actually, we've known each other since 2012. I can't believe it's been 5 years. And we used to work together, and it was kind of a fun story. I actually was tasked with expanding my department, so I blindly recruited Ashley to come work for me. And if you guys know anything about me, I was looking to attract somebody that had the same energy and excitement and talent, and I definitely hit the jackpot with her. And right away, we just instantly bonded with the first time we met each other in California, and we've been great friends ever since, and just have gone through a lot of life changes. My family expanding, her family expanding, all kinds of things, business changes. So we've been through a lot together. So I'm excited to chat with you, pick your brain a little bit. So since a lot of the people watching, and oh, by the way, you guys, if you're just hopping on, let's get a 1. Let's see some 1s in the comments for everybody watching this live. Drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. Put new if you're new to me or you're new to Ashley Welch. And also go ahead and put shared, because this information needs to get out there, because not enough people are talking about how to find your purpose, how to be real, how to be authentic, especially on social media. So please share this. If you guys have any business groups or women groups, we want to empower people to be able to find their voice and share that with the world. So please share this. So put a comment for that, but I'm going to turn it over you to Ashley. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, so like Kim was saying, we met and it was like love at first sight. And I know one of the things you were talking to me about and you wanted to ask me was like what got me into like becoming an entrepreneur. And I would say the first moment that I actually decided like eventually I would own my own business was when I met you. And it was when because you were
I didn't know that.
Your ability to connect with people authentically on sales floors, which we were on many of them, all over. I think I've been to every people on the planet at this point. Like,
I think so.
what their layout is, I'll tell you what products they have. And so that confidence that I saw in you, I just kind of adopted. And I think naturally people tend to do that, which is part of finding your purpose, is that you're going to kind of walk through life and you're going to meet all these different people, and you have the power to decide what attributes and characteristics you want to adopt that you like and that you see. And I feel like the key that sounds simple but is really hard is to try to adopt the right talents and adopt the right skill sets that you notice and you you want to kind of take on and propel yourself forward. So yeah,
that's so cool.
but I'm supposed to talk about myself. What do I say?
Well, so what I want people to know, so we work together and then we kind of branched off and we went in different
Mhm.
directions with our business, our careers.
Right.
And so I was still taking the traditional route. I was still working full time, working for somebody else. I was still working on my Fit Kim business, which a lot of you followed me for years. And I was building that on the side, just, always something that I really enjoyed. But for you, you actually
Oh
kind of
yeah,
went in
yeah.
a totally different direction.
You
It took a big risk. So tell people about
what
that.
it really went down to is you were really responsible, Kim. You like kept your full time job, and you were like, I'm gonna do this side. You did things the safe way, and I recommend like following Kim's footsteps in most cases. Um, I kind of just go balls to the wall, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. Let's see what works. And I failed at it, and I think that was the most important thing. So I just one day quit my job. I was working for a really high profile natural products company. I don't know if any of you know, it's Nordic Naturals. They're like the number one
Mm-hmm.
omega-3 company in the world. They're on fire. And I had great opportunities. I could have grown within the company. I easily could have been sales manager and kind of like worked up from there. I became very close with the founder, and the relationships that I was building with them were great. And it could have been a really safe, cushiony spot for me to land in and stick with. But I wasn't happy. And I think for me, and I don't expect everyone to be this way, and I think Kim, you're the same way, is there's this part of you that's like, I want something of my own. I want to my
Mm-hmm.
legacy. Like I think it's wonderful that other people are bold enough to create and do and make new things, and that's awesome. That will help bring them up. But I want that myself, and it is a selfish decision to a certain extent, but it's also not, because at the end of the day, like you want to leave that for your family. You want to leave that. You want to leave some sort of legacy that you can say that you've built. And for me, that's what fuels me. That's what drives my spirit, my creativity, is to know that I'm making something that one is for myself, two will trickle down for the people I love and care about. So I did the ballsy move of just quitting the job, and it gave me a huge eye opener into the world of money in general. We're talking about startups, and I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know what a startup is. I was like, apparently I had started one with started Active Ash. Before I started, which we'll talk about, the dating app I started. I was doing Active Ash, and that was fun, but that apparently was a startup, and I could have gone into the venture route and tried to raise $1 million, and I probably could have, and gone that way, but I didn't, because I lacked the skills. I had no idea what all the business terms were, and so going into the experience where I found a business partner who had a little bit of experience in the tech world and the venture capital world, we were able to kind of team up, and we ended up building some technology. We built an iOS dating app. It was called Flutter. It was a video dating app. The whole concept is great. So if someone wants to take it off this
Yeah.
Facebook Live and do it, I'll tell you everything not to do and everything to do. You take it. Along that journey of building a dating app, I was a single parent. So I had no money coming in, just money going out. We did raise a little bit of venture capital. And I would say the best experience through starting that business was just connecting with other people who had startups and who had connections to investors. So building relationships with those people who had relationships with investors, and then building direct relationships with investors. That was a huge part of my experience with building a tech company. And I think with any company, really, is how it's going to go. At the end of the day, it's just socializing. I mean, that's what I was at every event you could possibly think of. And it's I think the reason it failed was because I didn't have a clear vision. I also had a partner who, even though was a great guy, we, at the end of the day, our incentives weren't aligned, and um,
Mm-hmm.
and he lacked trust in my abilities. He was older. He had a startup prior to that. He had worked for a startup who had been bought out. I don't know if like Yammer and PayPal, and he had been in that world. And so I naively would just assume that he knew everything, and the reality was is actually he didn't. And I now know that it probably failed because I lacked the confidence to really step in charge, and he probably lacked the ability to like let the woman take charge.
let it
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And trust
yeah.
you. So, okay, so some of you didn't catch that, but she said she was doing this while she was a single parent, which, my mom was a single parent and Scott travels a lot and I'm always like, how do people do this? So how did you step through the fear to go after it? Because you're very much like, I feel as though I've always watched you in awe because you appear fearless, which of course there's no way you can just be completely fearless. So how do you feel that and move through it anyway? Like how were you able to do that? Like I still just it blows my mind.
Well, the younger you are, the more fearless you are. And I will say that I'm more fearful year after year. So, uh, so I guess I'm happy I was ballsy earlier on, so I can compare my decisions to how crazy I was when I was really young. But I guess at the end of the day, it came down to when I had Eli, my first son. I now have two, and being a single parent, I I was in a position of survival. And when you have to make money, it's you're either gonna like take money or you're gonna make money. I could have gone the state aid, state assistance, have everyone pay for me and be the victim, or I could take charge and say, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make shit happen. Use my language, but that was my attitude, because I want the best for my son. So my first real purpose in life was having him, and having him in really unfortunate circumstances. And so that was actually the driving force behind being ballsy and making ballsy moves. So how do you do it? You are scared when you're making these decisions. There's no there's no way around it. But you get to decide if the fear is going to take you down, going to fuel you. And I guess for me, I like the adrenaline rushes that I get. Those people who end up being successful, that's part of it. Is it's like you let that fear either fuel you and like you're pumped and you go, or you just crumble. And
Right.
luckily I've gone.
So were there any, because I know a lot of people watching this are either running their own businesses, or they have a side business like I do, or their dream is to be able to be home with their kids. I have a lot of moms that follow me and they would love, and myself personally, they would love to be able to spend more time with their kids. So, and I think people will say to me, I'm so afraid of taking that leap or starting that business. What if I fail, or what if I can't do it? Or, I could never do anything like that. And even something is that, like you said about crumbling with the fear, I felt that before, where you go, okay, should I go live? Should I do it? No, I don't want to. And you're kind of in that little impasse. Have you ever had moments like that where you were deciding, I don't want to do this, and you thought, I'm going to go for it? Is that what you're saying? Like you stared in the eyes and you recognize it, or do you notice these things in retrospect?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is kind of so when you say that, the immediate, because for me, making business decisions have always been easier than making personal decisions. So that fear that you're talking about, like that in between, for me, it was actually getting into a serious relationship and getting engaged to my soon-to-be husband. That was actually where I felt that sort of like, am I going to do it, or am I going to? Right. It's going to be hard because you're going to have to work at it, and you are going to fail. You will fail many times. It's just like having kids. You're going to fail sometimes daily, weekly, whatever it may be. And I think you have to assume you're going to fail, but still do it, right? Like you can be afraid. That's fine, but still do it. And maybe say, I might fail. I probably will. And then I'll pick myself back up again, and I'll write down all the things that I did that I shouldn't have done. And then I'll not do those again the second time that I start again. And it's no different than like trying to learn how to play soccer or something, or like, it's just like what a little kid does. And I think like you said, as we get older, we have to like talk ourselves up and do it. But, you just have to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that are watching, go ahead and put a one in the comments if you're watching this live. And let's give Ashley some hearts when she's dropping some good information to inspire you. That's the goal. And put a two on here if you're watching the replay. Put new if you've never heard a video or live from Ashley Welch. I tagged her in the video so you guys can find her on Facebook. And then also put shared in the comments because we want to shout you out. I can't see the comments, so we'll look
The
at them
comments,
after.
I see lots of ones. Lawana Irwin,
Okay.
you put a one in. Katrina's got a one in. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, good. So you can see the comments. Okay,
So
good. So if you see anything, let me know.
Tell me what you want me to, I can say. So Leanne Johnson, shout out, you're new. What's up, girl?
Yes. So Leanne's actually the preschool owner where the girls go to school.
Oh, that's
so she's with my little girls every day. Yeah, she's the best. So what was that?
Sleeping right now?
Yeah, Elise was crying. I was like, no, you need to go to sleep. Like, mommy has to go do an interview. So she did. So that's all, we're all good. So now you've shifted gears and you are, you have a business. Tell us a little bit about the branding, the business, her purpose, and kind of the idea behind it.
Yeah. Well, the idea behind it is in the title, which is her purpose. And it really is about, me for the first time feeling 100% comfortable to just express everything that's in my brain and my heart, basically. And that sounds like a lot, but there's always been a part of me that's felt like I would be judged. You know, I've had so many people in my life when I've said I'm gonna go do this, like, you're gonna go do that, like, you know, how are you going to do that? And so I feel like it's always been like this upward battle of trying to find my purpose, and sometimes in really unsafe situations, and sometimes in, you know, really dark situations, and just figuring out, I guess, finally having a space where I feel safe and I feel secure enough to express myself and everything I have is really great. And I want to share that with other people so that hopefully other people will feel the same inspiration that they should do it. They should make that jump, you know, even if it could be something really small that they start out doing that they love. But I know that if I'm not cooking in the kitchen sometimes, you know, I'm missing something. You know, I love cooking in the kitchen. That's just a part of who I am. I know that if I'm not dancing, if I don't move my body and literally physically like dance.
I've seen you making smoothies. You're
yeah. I literally, I won't feel good about myself. And so I think it's really important for me to, one, remind myself and hold myself accountable, which is why I built a whole website. And two, hopefully, and that's the first reason, right? Selfishly, this is all for me. And then second, it's to hopefully inspire other women to get back in touch with their own gifts and their own inspiration. Because I think, especially mothers, we get so in this, like, I got to do this, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to scrub the bathrooms, and then I have to clean the kitchen, and then I have to, you know, go take the kids to school, and then I have to go to work, and then somehow I have to find time for me, and then find time for, you know, my partner, or, you know, it becomes so much. And so really, like, learning how to prioritize that stuff and kind of finding beauty within all of that chaos is what I'm going for, and what I hopefully can bring out in other people as well. Because yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So basically, it's about kind of like the beautiful mess concept.
That's
like we're.
Yeah. It's a blog. I guess I should say exactly what it is. I'm like, I go big picture, and then people need to reel me in. They're like, oh, and then what exactly is your website? So I'm putting up blog videos of just everything that I do, and really awesome recipes that are yummy and fun and pretty healthy, except for one of the recipes. I was like, no.
That's okay. No joke.
Yeah, like we're going all out. Anything from the type of products I use, which you can buy products directly on my website. Everything that I have is pretty clean and pure. And I go through lots of Amazon reviews. I review almost everything, lots of mommy blogs, and I kind of pull everything, and I look at the packages, I look at the ingredients, I look at the quality of things, and I decide if if they're one worth talking about, and two worth sharing on my website and promoting, so other people can have those too. It's basically just, this is my life. These are all the products. This is I use. This is all the food I cook. These are the arts and crafts I do with myself and my kids to keep me from going insane. And if you would like to have them and or use them, they're here for you. So that's what it is.
Okay, that's cool. I like that a lot. So, what about having energy? Because a lot of the people I talk to, they're so tired. They're working or they're I think it's harder to be a stay-at-home mom personally. I really do. Maybe it's just the way I'm wired, but I think it takes so much more energy with little kids, especially toddlers, than going and working with adults. But they're just really tired because, like you said, you're trying to be all things to all people, and you have these to-do lists, and you're just go, 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 go. How have you found ways to draw energy from what you're doing? Because it sounds like you get excited when you talk about it. Like, you can tell that it's something you're passionate about. So does that fuel you and give you energy to do it? Does it trickle in other areas, or do you feel like you have to make yourself have the energy to work on this? Like, how does it fit into your life?
So there's definitely a push and a pull to that, because if one, the energy thing is, that's complicated, and I don't know if most of you know, but if you're new to me, you won't know that I just had a baby in July. So I'm working. Yes.
Give her some hearts.
Woo! So I'm working with an almost 5-month-old and now an almost 6-month-old, and I don't sleep. Like, my husband will tell you, I'm up every hour and a half almost. This baby is like, he sleeps during the day so nicely, so cute, and then nighttime he's just like, I'm ready to party, and so I'm just like a feeding machine all night, and that's all I do. And then somehow I wake up in the morning and I pour a nice fat cup of coffee and I just do it. But the thing is I'm fortunate enough to be in a place that where I have clarity around what I want to build. So this is an idea that actually came into my mind over a year ago, or just about a year ago. It came into my mind. And I actually made a Her Purpose. The Her Purpose page was made a year ago. It wasn't published.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
It wasn't published. I just sent a seed out. I was like, I would like to do that. and then it sat there. And it sat there for a year. And my mind just kind of, I would have ideas and I would have visions. And sometimes I would write them down. I was also pregnant, right? So I wasn't going to start a new venture. When I'm pregnant, I know many women, including myself, when you're pregnant, you really kind of become more internal naturally. And because you've got so much going on, everything slows down. Your blood all going there, and so your brain's like, So there, as far as having that energy and that drive to I'm going to do it, and I'm fueling you, it's not something that you want to try to force and make up. But once you get that hit, once you get a little bit of clarity of oh, that's how I would do it. If you're going, that's how I would do it, and the how I would do it or how I would start, usually I feel like that's when you can make that first step. But simmer in all the ideas of and part of it is just you do the brainstorm, you do the vision, you do, what makes you happy. I put down a list in my journal probably a year and a half ago of all the things that make me happy. And on the top list was, cooking, dancing, and creating things and writing, and those were huge. And now I'm doing that, but it's actually been in the making for a while. So I would, look at what you've been thinking about for the past year and what's been on your heart and what kind of has been driving you to have these creative, inspirational thoughts around doing something on your own. And then kind of decide and think about if you're at that place where you have the how-to, I guess, because a lot of people have the how-to, they just don't push the button. But, I did, again, like I always do, is make crazy decisions, and I just push the button. So.
What we love about you. So I think I'm actually doing a vision board workshop this weekend on Saturday, and I've been doing a lot of research and preparing for it. And you just hit on a couple things. So one of the things is, you want to have a vision and you want to be clear about what you want. But the interesting thing is sometimes we think, like for me, I always thought it was Fit Kim. I always thought that was going to be what I did, and it's not. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is what I discovered, it's not about Fit Kim. It's about the feeling, and it's about the things that make me happy. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage people to get really clear on what you want. Like she said, she made a list. It can be as simple as getting your journal out, making a list. We're going to do actual vision boards and vision books on Saturday. But the thing that's interesting is once you do that, and either you think about it in your head or you write it down, and it might be a secret, right? Because I think there's some vulnerability there where you might not even tell your spouse or a girlfriend. You just kind of write it down and it's sort of there. But when you get that inkling or that inspired action is what they call it, it's the universe's way of saying, hey, you wanted this thing, let me show you how to get that and get there. And so when you feel that inspired action, you want to act on it. And I feel like, Ashley, even though you're kind of teasing about you just jumping in, I think you're so good at following through on inspired action. I really do. And even though it's been a journey for you, I think that that's the whole point of the journey, is to get you where you are now, you know, is to follow those things. And I mean, it's a process, right? And it's like kind of unfolding. There's these layers, but it's getting closer and closer to you living a life the way that you want to. And it's like her purpose. Like I love the idea behind that. So do you feel that with her purpose, is there a goal of being very authentic with people and kind of peeling back like the curtain to show people into your, like really showing people what it's like to be in your world? Is that the concept?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to herpurpose.co, one of the latest videos we put up was my family Christmas tree. So I for the first time feel like I have a completed family. It was just me and Eli for 5 years, and and so now all of a sudden I went from like family of 2 to family of 4. Yeah, I'm on fast track. And so I also was raised as a child Jehovah's Witness. And so if any of you know what that religion is, you're not allowed to celebrate any holidays. And so I'm just for the first time creating family traditions. Sorry about that. And it's a vulnerable thing to talk about the fact that, I was deprived of these things as a child, and that it really affected me because, my family's going to see that, my parents might. Mm-hmm. And I'm sharing how I really felt about those situations and without caring about what other people are going to think and how it might make them feel. And that's really important. And, I think I am still getting comfortable doing that. I think the reason why I'm doing it is because I think it's something I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to be able to share the things that hurt me, just to get them out so they're not in anymore. And then also be vulnerable and share the things that I love. And I'm kind of losing my train of thought because it's so late at night, and as you know, I don't get any sleep.
Well, you don't get any sleep, so you can say pretty much anything at this point. Everybody still love it.
But right, I'll just say it.
Baby brain.
Yeah. So yeah, I think as the site evolves, you will start seeing more and more of who I am, more intimately, and I think we're off to a pretty good start. And I look forward to kind of just continuing to unfold those layers and doing it with no shame, which is hard to do. Because we're told that we're supposed to be a certain way, whether it's by the expectation our parents had on us, by our spouse, by, our friends, like they a lot of them have this idea of who you are. And so, but who I am is so complex, and I think any woman thinks that, like, I'm that today, but tomorrow I might be this, so get ready.
Yeah, it's true, for sure, especially a woman like with a passion and a purpose and just having dreams and things like that. So, and I think too, I even noticed this with Addison and stuff. It's, be a good girl, and just, you've probably seen the whole Like a Girl campaign, but I think there's a lot of conditioning and programming to be a certain way and kind of fit into that box. And one thing I've noticed is I've opened up on social media, and just because it's funny, even though I was public and I've been on TV and stuff like that through FitKim, I actually hid behind FitKim. It was really weird. I remember I did the video on my personal page saying I wasn't going to be focusing on FitKim anymore. And it was so weird because I thought, oh, shoot, you know, now I actually have to show me and my family and my kids and what's going on with me. And you know, I have a balance because I have a full-time job, and of course, like, that's very important to me, but I also have my own things too, you know, and so I have to be really vulnerable with that. And it's funny, once I was able to, it's scary, right, when you're first doing it, but as you do it, you start to realize people really like it. They really do. Like, I get such great feedback, and I get people saying, you know, I like it that your light stand fell over and knocked your water glass and it spilled all over and you're live. Like, you're a normal, real person and you're trying to balance it all. And I want to know more. So I think it's amazing. I think we need more of that. And I don't think there's a lot of it. I think even the people who are very successful on social media, like Facebook and stuff and Instagram, they're still very polished. You know, like, people say, oh, I saw so-and-so, do you follow her? And I'll go on her page and she's gorgeous in these perfectly posed pictures, which of course Instagram is all about pictures, right? That's the point. But they're so together.
That shot, by the way.
Yes, yeah. And so
it is hard work. Yeah. They do work hard.
It's hard work. Yes, it is. It's hard work. And so, but we see it as, oh, why don't I look like that? You know? So I think that's what's kind of nice about doing a business and using social media, but really sharing your life, you know, and everything that you're doing and what's going on with you, and sharing that and showing people, this is what it looks like in my life. You know, this is what we did today, or this is what happened, or I just realized something about my childhood and I've noticed this is why I feel this way now, and sharing that stuff. Cause I feel like people are just, they want you to see that perfect picture on Facebook or whatever. And I love posting pictures too, don't get me wrong. Like, of course, I'm using filters and all that. Duh. Yeah. But I mean, I think we need more of that. So what would you say to people watching that are moms, especially, or really busy women that want to either start their own business, or they've started one, but they just haven't found that fuel? Like, even if they're exhausted, they're going to bed, or they're you know, numbing out with Netflix. What would you say to those people to get them to find that fire? What would you say?
Well, they should do like your vision event that you're doing this weekend, shouldn't they?
Yes, come to the vision board workshop. Post a comment.
Yeah. Gosh, you know, you're putting me on the spot here, because I don't really have a good answer, because I feel like it's different for everybody. You know, I think it starts out with just writing down the couple things that you love and that make you happy. And if that's your kids, that's your kids, you know. And that's the other thing too. If it's just that you want to be a mom and you just love your kids and you love being with them and raising them, the flip side of that is don't feel any pressure, because that is a full-time job. That is worth a heck of a lot of money. So that's cool. And you know, and then, but if you do write something down outside of just your household or your family, or you're at that job, but you know that you're, you know, going to feed your soul is this other thing. You know, you start writing about it. You start envisioning it. What would it look like? Just in your mind. You don't even have to write it down. In fact, I often let my mind just soak in things before I'll put them to paper, and I'll just think about and envisioning what something would feel like. How would my life feel? You know, how would my attitude change if I knew I was going and doing this every day? You know, and then act as if. You know, pretend that that's going to happen, and before it does, like that would be my magical advice.
I love that. It's real. I love it. I think it's awesome. And people, once you kind of get the hang of it and do that, it's amazing how it happens for you. There's so much less effort when you remove the resistance and you actually believe. And a lot of times it's just removing that resistance and believing in yourself and allowing it to come in. Because sometimes people are just trying to make things happen and they're hanging on so tight and they're forcing it. And I think if you just believe in it and just let it go and just allow it to come into your life, it just does. So I think that's really good advice.
The one other
thing. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say just before we wrap it up, because I know we got to go. I can hear my baby screaming like in the distance. Okay.
Most probably hungry.
I know I got to go breastfeed. So the one thing I was going to say, or just touch on, that you brought up is kind of this idea of like how women should be. And I think especially working women, they're, I think we often have this idea of like how we should act. And I think part of the power that women have is to be ultra feminine. And so actually, if I were to give anyone advice, who wants to enter into like being an entrepreneur and really owning it, is to not to lose that feminine part of you, because that's actually where your power and your creativity comes from, in my experience. So I know I've been at that place where I just have to go full force masculine. And when you have to do it, do it. But that other part of us that makes us women, the sensitive, sweet, soft side, the response I get when I come from that place, if I'm in a room full of executives or if I'm in a business meeting and I'm about to close a deal of investment, you bet you I'm working my feminine part. I'm not working my masculine. Mm-hmm. That's their job, right? Like I don't need to be that when I'm in the room with them. I'm going to come from this place of sweetness and care and love, but that's also like stern. And I know my stuff, I'm a woman, but, and that's like where kind of like that's the one thing that I would say. I see a lot of women trying to fill the role of a man when they get into a position. And I would just encourage women who are wanting to move into that next step to keep the femininity in you as you're moving into that the workforce, I guess.
No, that's really good. Yeah, there's is it Brene Brown or something? It's called Daring Greatly, and it's about vulnerability. It's really good. She talks a lot about work and corporate world and stuff like that. But it's funny, like I have a backdrop that I use for my lives, and it's this like pink, sparkly backdrop.
I think that's
yes. Yeah, but it was funny. I had like 4 choices, and there was like this kind of neutral wood one, and then this gray one, and I put them up, and I was like, eh. But I was like, that's safe and neutral, and then I put the pink one up, and I was like, yes. And it's funny because you go through that thought process, thought process of.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying just the thought process of. Is that too girly? Is that too young? I'm going to be 38 next month. Can you believe it, Ashley? But like, think about it, and a lot of the girls I work with, they're in their 40s and they're fun and they wear like fun hats. And Marina Simone, I follow her on Facebook, and I won this cool hat, this healer's hat, and that's fun, and I think there's a misconception that you can't be fun and girly and feminine and all these things and be successful in business. And it's absolutely untrue. It's such a stereotype. You can absolutely do both. Yep. And it is so much fun because you're making your business fun. Like I always thought of business as being just hard work and grinding it out because my career has always been that way. But to really have fun and make it my own, it's been all about like freaking, what is it called? Make it all glittery and fun, and I love it. I think it's so much fun.
I know. I didn't realize that I was gonna do a pink icon or brand. Like my logo is pink, and when I was like, let's do a green, and I'm like, colors like a blue, and we got to pink, and Ryan was like, yeah, and I'm like, yes. I would have never. I would have never thought. So I hear you on the pink.
Yeah, it's weird, but you have to kind of stop and sort of check yourself to be like, no, that's fun, and I want to do that, or whatever that color looks like. Yeah. But awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your obviously busy life. Oh, my goodness. And congratulations on the engagement and your second baby. You have Eli and William, and they're so freaking cute, like little Gap kids. I swear, just adorable. Yeah. But you really have this sweet, beautiful family. So I'm so happy for you, and I'm excited about your new. What?
I'm really good at you. That's all. Keep going.
You're just. No, it's okay, but I'm excited about your new venture.
Thank you.
All of that. So I'll definitely invite you back. And as you get, going with it, and if there's anything specific we could do some training on, maybe we can talk about how to get your message out, how to use your voice, because I've read your blog, I've read your website, and it's you, just you talking, which I love. I feel like you and I are hanging out. So we could do something like that down the road for everybody for sure, probably in a private group. But anyways, I won't keep you. So thank you so much.
Yes.
If you guys want to give her some thumbs ups and some hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yep. Have a good night.
Likewise. Bye, guys.
Bye. Awesome. Thanks for watching, you guys. Before you hop off, I want to tell you guys real quick two things. One, I've got 2 spots left on my vision board workshop, so put that in the comments if you guys want to get in. It's recorded, it's online. I'm pretty freaking jazzed about it. It's going to be awesome. Second thing is I'm launching a private business group. This business group is for new business owners. So if you are running a business, you're doing network marketing, something like that, if you want to build online, I'm going to teach you how to do it through social media. So I'm going to be starting that. So if you're interested, just put business group in the comments, and I will make sure to connect with you guys on that. And of course, I'll be promoting it once it's probably launching, not this weekend, but next weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Post a comment, please share, and have a great night. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.